Ahoy!
Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream movie show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. Don't know what happened to my voice then.
No, mine went a bit weird as well. I said bottom of the stream.
My oi went a bit high, and I'm not sure why.
How strange.
We're here. We're ready to talk about a movie. We are Bottom of the Stream. We dredge the Netflix stream looking for hidden gems.
We do indeed.
Every single week, apart from when we have a week off.
Yeah, apart from the weeks that we don't do it.
Which was last week. But we are sort of about to enter, I guess, the final straight of this season.
Yeah, this is episode 16, I believe, of season 8.
Yeah.
We've been doing this show a long time now.
And last time we were here, we had a new number one, The
We
Decline.
did. The Decline made it to number 1, top of the stream.
Yeah, it's
film
like you
we've seen
say,
in a while.
it's got a couple of months to see if it can hang on.
Yeah, see if it can. I wonder if it will.
Let's find out.
Let's find out as we talk about this week's movie. It's an Indonesian action movie called Headshot. It was released in 2016. It is an 18, quite rightly. It is 1 hour and 58 minutes long and is currently rated at 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
6.3?
I mean, how do you compare Headshot
To anything else.
It's just a number, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's anything like another movie rated at
No,
6.3.
exactly. It is really weird, isn't it? This movie stars Iko Uwais. I presume that's how you say his name. That's how I'm saying it. He plays a character called Ishmael. Most famous, obviously, is in both the Raid movies.
Yeah.
He's the main guy in both of those. He's been on the show before.
He has.
He was in a movie called Triple Threat that we did a couple of seasons ago. He's also in a movie called The Night Comes For Us. Have you heard of this?
I have heard it. And I think it might be on our long list.
It might be. It is the first Netflix original Indonesian movie.
Really?
It is. And the entire cast, movie director and writers of this movie are in that movie.
Okay.
So might be one to check out.
Yeah.
The Night Comes For Us. It was the first Netflix original from Indonesia.
I'm not 100% sure because I don't scour it all the time, but I think it is on our long
Yeah, it
list.
might be. And if it's not, it probably should be.
Yeah.
Okay. Also stars a lady called Chelsea Islan. She plays a character called Aileen. She's American. She was born in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
But was born and was raised in Indonesia. Sonny Pang plays a character called Lee. And one of the best names of anybody we've ever had on this show is Very Try Ulisman. He plays Bezzy. Which is interesting because he's in all of Iko Uwais' movies.
Nice.
And his name's Bezzy because I would presume they're Bezzy mates.
Yeah. And they were in this movie.
Oh, they were in
They're
this
two
movie.
characters,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And yeah, he's in every single movie that Iko Uwais has ever made.
Nice.
Written and directed by Timo Tayanto and also co-directed by Kimo Stambole.
Yeah.
I'm going with that. Don't
Fine.
know if that's how you say it. They make a lot of Indonesian movies, but none that I've ever heard of. Apart from The Night Comes For Us, which they made.
Good.
Do you have a one-word review?
It's just carnage.
This movie is pure carnage.
Yeah.
There's a story there. It's weak. But this movie's not about following a story.
No.
This movie's about following this man as he just beats the shit out of people.
There is lip service to the fact that there is a vague story of why people are in certain places.
Yes.
To put them in the same frame so they can just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure it's pretty nonsense.
Yeah.
The story's nonsense. It's nonsensical all the way through.
Yeah.
But it's a heck of a fun time.
I mean, we'll get to it. There is story, but it is loose.
Yes, it is. Where does this film start, Nick?
There's a man mopping a filthy prison.
Yeah, there is. Dirty prison floors being mopped by a man. He's coughing. He's not well man, I don't think.
Yeah.
It appears to be like death row, I think.
I think so.
Cleaning.
Everybody's
in a cell on their own, lining a corridor.
Yeah. Leading up, and this is, I don't know if a real prison would be designed like this, but it's very cinematic. You've got your corridor, you've got prisoners either side of the corridor leading up to a room at the end.
Yes, like a solitary confinement cell, I guess. With a solid door. The rest of them have got barred doors. And we meet the man inside.
We do.
He is getting killed tomorrow. Tomorrow is his last day of life before he gets put up against the wall, is what they say.
Yeah,
so
so you're going to be lined up. Yeah.
And he's shown photos of his victims.
A cop. So a cop. I'm presuming this is like the guy who's put him away.
Yeah.
So there's a load of prison guards walk down this cell and a cop in his shirt and tie. just throws all these Polaroids into this cell.
Yeah.
It says, take a look at these. These are all the kids you've ruined or
Yeah.
killed. Or
Lives you've
Or
destroyed.
they're missing, yeah.
These are the reason you're being killed tomorrow. Then the man who was cleaning the floor
Yeah, the mop guy.
slices a guard's neck
Yeah.
with nobody noticing.
Shanks the hell out of
It
this
does.
dude.
Just kills this guy.
And this is our first sort of arterial spray of red.
There's a lot of blood spatter in this movie. He kills a guard, and then a gunfight ensues.
Yeah.
There's guns flying everywhere. People are being shot all over the shop.
Because,
all the guards are going down. The prisoners in the cells
Yeah,
are going down.
it is just absolutely brutal. And because the sort of like, I guess the food service hatch
Yeah.
in this solitary confinement cell at the end was open,
Yeah.
our death, a person who's about to be put to death tomorrow managed to reach out in the chaos and disarm this cop.
Yes. Gets a gun.
Yeah.
Starts shooting as well. Everybody's shooting. It's all going a bit crazy. All the guards pretty much die. A few of the prisoners do.
Yeah. There's a few sort of writhing, moaning, about to die people.
That happens a lot in this movie as well. There's lots of like writhing around, not quite dead yet. The man in the cell manages to get out. He shoots the lock off the cell because he managed to get himself a gun. And the policeman who was shot 50 times, maybe, he's not dead.
No, that happens a few times.
Yeah,
as well.
it does. Yeah, he's not quite dead.
They don't make very good bullets in Indonesia, obviously.
No, obviously not. Or people who can fire guns, because there's a lot of missing going on in this movie as well. The man in the cell gets out and kills this policeman by putting his hand in his mouth.
I basically thought he just pulled his jaw off.
He did basically just dislocate his jaw, but that manages to kill him,
Yeah.
finishes him off. And then he frees all of the other prisoners.
And lets him into the armory.
Yes, so he arms up all the prisoners and sends them around this corner where all the guards are waiting.
He
The
just
remaining
says,
guards
go
are
and do what
waiting.
you want, you're
Yeah,
free.
just free, do whatever you want.
But this
I feel
guy
like he
hangs
knew what
back.
was coming.
Yeah.
He hangs back himself.
There is an armed response around the corner.
There is. And so there's a standoff. Probably 15 guards
Very
versus
small
15
corridor.
prisoners in a very small room, just pointing guns at each other. Until one of them gets an itchy trigger finger, and they all end up dead.
Yeah.
There's just another massive gunfight. Everybody's dead. Except for one. The one final prison guard is still alive. And this man who has freed himself from this cell walks through this carnage, grabs this man's head, smashes it into the wall, and the title card of the movie comes on. And that is your prologue for this movie complete.
You, by the end of this prologue, know exactly what sort of movie you're getting.
100%.
And it does not veer from that.
I think already the body count is higher than any movie we've done before.
I mean,
At
I
least
would
50
I
people
would
have died
struggle
already.
to remember a higher body count.
The only
by
other
the
one I
end
could
of
think of
this.
was probably the other Iko Uwais film
Yeah.
that we did. But yeah, the body count in this movie is astronomical.
Yeah.
There's already at least 50 people dead. We've only just got to the title card. And it kind of veers away as it comes out of the title card. We're now on a nice beach. There's
Yeah.
a paradise beach in the middle of nowhere. And there's a man there who kind of runs like a beach bar, I guess.
Yeah.
Fisherman type of guy. He finds a body washed up on the shore.
Tied up in like a fishing net.
Yeah, he's all tangled in a
Yeah.
fishing net, and he's not dead. It's not in a good way. He's definitely unconscious. And then the film cuts to 2 months later.
Yeah.
Comes up on the screen 2 months later, and this man who was washed up on the shore is now in hospital. He's in a coma. Appears he's been in this coma for 2 months now.
Yes.
They don't know who he is or what happened to him.
A girl arrives at on her bike
Yes.
at the hospital and goes and basically camps herself on the sofa in this guy's
Yeah, she's
room.
basically watching
And
over him.
It is interesting that clearly all the story, 90% of the story for what it is in this movie, happens off screen.
Yes.
Because we are led to just assume that she has been doing this and has kind of developed a relationship with him, just looking after him. 'Cause she's a doctor,
She's a doctor, yeah.
but she's not at work. She's there with him.
She just stays in the room with him, watching over him.
We don't get any of that build-up.
She's basically
that happens
fallen
off
in
screen.
love with a man in a coma.
Yeah.
Is what's happened.
Yeah.
So she sleeps there. She's asleep on the sofa when suddenly the man's fingers start to twitch,
Yeah.
and then he violently wakes up.
He does.
I would say
He
sits up-
remembers a gunshot.
He does. Yeah. There's lots of little flashes of gunshots and things. He's got a scar on his head, so
Yeah.
we're led to assume he's been.
She literally
shot in
leaps
the
out
head.
of bed.
Yeah, leaps out of
and
bed.
then stacks it.
Yeah, 'cause
which
it's-
did make me laugh.
Yeah, it was quite.
He's not
There are
stood
some
up for
funny
2 months.
moments in this film.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's not stood up for 2 months, so he immediately hits the deck, which wakes her up. is happy that he's awake, I guess.
Yeah.
She doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know who he is. He has no memory.
He said, he can't remember his name. He can't remember. She asked him, well, have you got any relatives? Who's your brothers, sisters, parents? No, can't remember anything.
Can't remember anything. The board at the end of his bed says the name Ishmael on it, but I don't know where they've come up with that from. They've assumed that's just a name they've given him in the hospital.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to know him as for the majority of this film. Then she does some. There's a few more flashbacks of him being shot. He's been shot in the head, basically. That's where this is what's happened.
Yeah.
He has a scar on his forehead.
There's a flashback to like a woman shooting him.
Yep. She does some tests on him, Elaine. Elaine is this woman's name.
Yeah.
But why every movie we do seems to have somebody called this in it?
It's the yeah,
Decline did last week.
The French guy, Alain.
Elaine, and now Elaine is this one.
She was. I think she. Well, they would. I don't know if it's just an accent. They would pronounce it in this movie as the name was more Alain.
Alain, but it's Eileen basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
She does some tests on him. She puts him in like some scanners, and she basically he's still got some shrapnel in his brain.
Yes.
Is okay. The bullet's not there.
The
bullet
pain.
is fine.
Yeah,
but
there are fragments
of shrapnel in his brain, and he occasionally during this movie he just gets massive head pains, which takes him off his feet.
And she takes him back to the beach.
She does to try and jog his memory. I guess
this is where you were found, and he waves at the kindly old man
who found
at his tiki cabin behind.
Yeah. He still remembers nothing. Then we cut away and we meet two. I've written two drug dealers.
We're at the gang lair.
Yeah, there's like a lair of. It's in a garage in a warehouse type area, and they having a meeting with the man who we met earlier, the man who escaped from prison.
In walk through the door as the guy from Death Row.
Yeah,
and I think that's the flashback lady.
Yes,
who we've just seen shoot.
Yes, she looks a bit like Melina
Ishmael.
from the Street Fighter game. She's got a purple scarf all right around her. This man is known as Mr. Lee or Lee.
Yeah.
He has no fear of these two men he's come to meet. He's going to sit and have this meeting whilst also eating his dinner. He's brought his dinner with him.
But the two gangsters who he's meeting, so Lee's been supplying them weapons.
Yes.
These gangsters have got quite big for their boots, it seems, while he's been in prison. I quite like this scene, actually.
Yeah, I did as well.
The lead gangster basically says, look, your weapons are...
cheap Chinese crap is what he calls them.
They're awful.
Yeah.
And he says, I know about your reputation, but it's just that. You ain't all that. You're just a man.
You're just a man.
You've walked in here
with no
rooms full of gangsters.
Yeah.
You're not
come
walking
in basically
out.
on your own with a woman. You're not walking out of it.
He's like, you're not walking out. And when people hear I've killed you, I'm going to be number one.
I'll be the next big thing. The idea that his guns are cheap Chinese crap, it might be the explain why nobody can shoot anybody in this movie. I like that. I hadn't picked that up before. Maybe. And then a fight kicks off outside. I presume he's brought some men with him who's kept outside.
Lee's brought basically 4 people with him.
Yeah, and he's kept 3 of them outside.
Yeah.
So it all kicks off outside. And basically his 3 henchmen that he's brought with him kill everybody on the outside. Yeah. It's another great fight scene. And then the female bodyguard lady that he's brought inside with him takes out everybody on the inside.
Yeah.
He's
just sitting there eating his dinner.
He's just sitting there eating his dinner. It's great. Then Lee kills the main drug dealer gangster guy with a chopstick to the eye, which was great. And which causes the other one to break down.
I just put brutal face stabbing.
But the one who's left alive is like, look, I've got information.
Yeah, he's like, I don't work with that guy.
I've no idea who this guy is.
I'm here, but I'm new. I'm new. It's my first day.
Yeah, basically. He's doing everything to try and keep himself alive. And he tells the story of a man that they found on the beach who is rumoured to be close to Mr. Lee.
Yeah, he says we're hearing stories that a man's washed up
on the shore.
And he's close to you.
Yeah. And Lee's like, that's interesting. I wonder who that is. I've got an idea, but I'm not sure. And this this man's basically begging for his life. Yeah. He's like, don't shoot me. I've got all this information. So Lee shoots his ear off.
Yeah. And says, well, now you need to go to the hospital.
You need to go to the hospital to find out what's going on. Go and check it out whilst you're there. Which I thought was a really great scene.
That got... I know we said there's no story, or there's minimal story here, but this movie does do a good job of, with not much time, creating quite memorable supporting characters. I thought they're not all, there is a lot of faceless goons in this movie.
Yeah, but they're not all.
But it also spends time building up. If this was a computer game, sort of minor bosses, doesn't it? Because that's what this
Yes.
is.
Yes.
It's just Ishmael progressing up the ladder
Yeah.
to the end.
Yeah.
And the first one is this guy who gets his ears shot off.
Yeah.
And I thought he was a memorable first boss, which is effectively what he
Basically
becomes,
what he is.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
That's funny you should say that.
There's no more
because-
characterization than guy with one ear,
Yeah.
guy who uses shotgun, guy who uses machine gun,
Guy using
guy who
knives.
uses trunch gun,
Yeah.
truncheon,
Trunch gun.
trunch gun. I don't know what that'd be. A gun that shoots truncheons.
Oh, amazing.
Um,
Funny you should say that, because whilst I was watching this, I was thinking there's no originality left in the video games industry, and movies like this is what fighting games should be these days. There's another Street Fighter game coming out. Nobody wants that. So make a game like this where you're progressing through a story and having fight scenes in the time. That's what should be happening. So he goes to the hospital. We follow this guy for a little bit now, and handily, Elaine is the one who checks out his ear.
Yeah, so that's interspersed with shots of like Ishmael and the old man on the beach being friendly.
Yeah, there's a bit of a.
But again, it's literally like
time
two shots,
passing, yeah.
and we're supposed to believe they become best friends,
friends.
which is another. We
Yeah.
don't buy into that relationship.
So basically, Elaine now fixes this guy's ear up. He's really creepy. He never stops talking. He's really
horrible to all the hospital.
Yeah, he's a
staff.
horrible guy.
I'm gonna fuck you all up.
She puts the biggest bandage on his ear I've ever seen. It's very, very funny. And he straight out asks her about this guy that's been washed up on the beach. He wants to know more about what's going on, as if she would know about
And
it.
because she's a naive, pure character, she can't deny it. And
No.
he calls her out on that. He says, "Well, you're not saying no."
Yeah, exactly. And then the man who washed up on the beach just turns up in the room. Just happens
just
to be
behind
there.
him.
It's just behind him.
Just as he's starting to threatened to get handsy with Eileen.
Yes. So at this point, he doesn't know that he's a fighter, I guess. He doesn't remember any of this from his life. But he now instantly turns into this badass martial arts dude.
He does, because the guy with the ear off smashes a bottle of something over his head. And that kind of snaps him into...
I've written he goes into beast mode.
Yeah.
He basically turns into this fighter guy, beats the crap out of this guy.
And he stumbles away, doesn't he?
He manages to get away.
So it's just a teaser fight, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, basically. Ishmael and Elaine then walk home together.
She says, "Look, my time at this hospital, my placement
is coming to an end.
Yeah.
She's a trainee doctor.
Yeah, I'm from Jakarta. I'm going back there. You should come with me."
Yes,
There's
she says staying around
something
here might be
weird
dangerous for you.
happening
Yeah.
here.
You need to come with me to Jakarta.
And he says, "Well, no, I need to find out who I am."
Yeah, he does. And she says, well, look, the hospitals are better there. We can remove this shrapnel from your brain there.
Yeah.
We can get you back to being a normal life. But he needs to find out who he is and why he is being attacked like this. So she gives him a phone.
This was cheeky.
Yeah.
She was like, "Here's a phone." So she's brought a burner phone.
Yeah.
She's like, "There's only one number on it." Wink.
That's mine.
Yeah. She's totally head over heels with this guy.
Yeah, she really is. And
She
she
then
says,
spoke to him twice.
yeah,
But, which
Cool.
is fine. It's sweet.
it is. Yeah, she's fallen in love with him while
Yeah.
she's been in a coma. It happens. She says, call me when you find yourself. And basically, she gets on this bus.
Well, it was weird because it's nighttime. It's
Yes.
raining. And I was like, "Oh, this is their goodbye scene."
Yeah.
But then it switches to the morning, and
Yeah.
now we're at the bus stop. I was like, "Have they? Is it implying that they've
Maybe.
spent the night together?" I not.
I hadn't picked up on that, but you might be right. It does switch.
It was
to the
just,
morning,
or
yeah.
was it just weirdly edited? Was it supposed to be early hours of the morning? They just sat at the bus stop until
it
the
got
bus.
light. Maybe,
it
I
doesn't
don't know.
matter.
I hadn't picked up on that.
I just thought it was a bit odd.
No, you're
that
right.
It suddenly switched to daylight.
You're
so-
right, it did. There's some goons waiting and watching the bus as it leaves, and they get distracted by a car that pulls up in front of them, and they miss the bus leave.
Yeah.
So they think that
They've
Ishmael
both
did
got
get
on
on the
it.
bus.
Yeah.
And Elaine also got on the bus, but he didn't. He gets
She
picked
got
up.
on it. And
She got on it.
He walked around the corner and he was picked up on a moped by the is
The
it
kind of-
Romley? The
Romley, yeah,
beach-
the
little
kindly old
beach
man
guy.
from the beach.
But they follow the bus.
They follow the
'Cause
bus
that's
because
the only
they
lead they've got.
think he's on the bus. So they pull over the bus. They manage to stop the bus in its tracks. They pull the car in front of it. Get on the bus, take out the bus driver straight away, shoot him a billion times with a machine gun.
And they say this is the first time we learn Ishmael's name. They say we're looking for Abdi.
Abdi. We need Abdi.
Where's Abdi?
Now, Elaine doesn't know Ishmael's real name.
No.
She doesn't know that this is the guy that they're after. She's put two and two together and
Yeah.
assumed that that's what's happening.
She hides. She's
She
right
hides
at
on
the back
the
of the
bus.
bus, so she
The-
kind of gets under the seat.
She gets under the seat. She calls him on this phone that she's just
Yeah.
given him. Nice little story touch there. Nice. and
So there's people here.
there's people here looking for you. They shoot every single person on this
They
bus.
just
They
light
just
up the bus.
light up the bus. We see it from the outside, so you can just see flashes through the windows.
Yeah.
Everybody's
these
dead.
two are like these. This is shotgun guy and machine gun guy.
Yeah.
They're like
Unnamed goons.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they are boss type characters,
Yes,
aren't they?
yes,
They
100%.
come back later. Yeah.
They shoot everybody on the bus except they leave a little girl alive.
Yeah.
And they leave Elaine alive, which is handy for our story. And they want to know where Abdi is.
She says, "I don't know."
I don't know. He didn't
he's
get on
back
this
in the
bus.
city.
He's back in the city. He
Yeah,
didn't
you've
come
got it
with me.
wrong.
You've got it wrong. They threaten to shoot the little girl for more information, but that doesn't happen.
But then they believe that she
'cause
sticks
it's
to her
like-
story.
She sticks to her story.
They're like, "Oh shit, he's not here."
Some time passes, and then are we calling him Abdi from now on?
I've got him ish.
I've got them as both in
Ishmael
my
all the way
notes,
through.
different scenes. Abdi then turns up, and everybody's left.
See, they
There's
pootle
no-
along on their little moped, don't they?
Yeah, they turn up on their moped.
Him and this little old man.
There's nobody left alive on this bus. Elaine's gone. The goons are all gone. There's just dead bodies on this bus.
He
I
finds her
presume
glasses.
Some time had passed because it smelled horrible. And
Yeah.
I think that takes.
He finds her glasses.
He does
so
find
you
her
know
glasses.
She's been there.
Then some other goons turned up. These are like
It's the
NPC
cleanup
goons.
crew
They've come
goons.
to set fire to the bus, chop up the bodies, get rid of the evidence. And they find Ishmael or Abdi on this bus,
As they're covering it with petrol. Yeah.
and a fight ensues on the bus, which is always great fun to do.
I think this
Every good
first,
action movie does it.
this first fight was the first example of which there are many in this movie of absolutely sick limb break.
Yeah, yes, there are many in this.
There's a lot of sort of bones sticking through our forearms and shins in this movie.
Yeah, he basically traps a guy's arm between two seats and then pushes
Yeah.
the seats apart.
Yeah.
Breaks this guy's arm.
That elbow just bends
Yeah, it does.
totally the wrong way.
There's lots of blood curdling screaming going on and people getting shot. One of the most gruesome deaths I've ever seen in a movie was the guy. The last guy alive is dying, and Abdi has no way of killing him except there's some bullet casings on the floor.
Yeah.
And he picks one up and just slowly forces it into this guy's eye.
Yeah. Did you
He
pick the
basically
one?
shoots him in the eye without a gun.
Did you pick up the one in the middle as well when they were both sort of lying in the walkway in the bus, but they're kind of pinned down, and Abdi kind of reaches up and he basically, I don't know how I could describe this as a niche reference, but he basically diamond cutters the guy to death.
Yes, he does basically. Yeah, does. He basically breaks his neck over his shoulder
Yeah.
like a stone cold stunner. Yeah, but when he forces this bullet casing into this eye, it was
Yes.
visceral. It was gory. It was slow.
You know the sound effect is just
Yeah.
over the top squelchy.
Yeah, it was really slow as well,
Yeah.
and this guy just dies from it. Now the bus is on fire. Somebody's managed to set the bus on
Yeah,
fire.
they've locked him in,
Um,
so he just throws himself through the windscreen.
he basically kicks the back windscreen out and then dives through it, but the camera goes through him at the same time.
Yeah.
So it looks really comical as he does it, but it's a great shot. More fighting ensues on the outside. He manages to set.
The kindly old man comes to try and help.
He does, yeah. He unfortunately does not make another
No.
appearance in this movie after this. He sets a guy on fire by pushing him into the bus slightly,
Yeah.
which sets him on fire. And then he gets knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
That's the end of the scene.
You hear a siren, so
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is that the police?
The police turn up and knock him unconscious.
Look, there's no. I hesitate to say it's a criticism because it's not that kind of movie, but there's a lost opportunity because I think it wants us to feel a bit of sympathy for the kindly old man who died. He just got sucked into this, but there's not enough time spent on building the relationship that he had with Ish. Again, it happens off screen.
Yeah.
We're told they've got this great relationship and they've become great friends, but we're told it in a line when we don't see it.
No.
And I'm not saying there should be loads of emotional heft in this gory action movie.
But there isn't any.
But it is 2 hours long, and you could have had some
Yeah.
of that in there if that was the choice you made.
Yeah, but the choice has
and
been made
it
not
doesn't
to.
happen.
Yeah. The time passing is shown by a palm tree going from light to dark as
Yeah.
if time has passed over days. Then we cut back to the guys who have Elaine now. They've gone to this lair.
Yeah.
They're back to their wherever they keep people. It's like a prison cell. The guy with the shot off ear is there. He's talking 10 to the dozen as he does.
He's talking to machine gun guy and shotgun guy.
Yeah.
He's basically saying, well, look, I found him for you. What am I getting?
What's my reward?
Yeah.
And then he gets shot. He's
Yeah,
killed.
they just kill him.
That's the end of that guy. Basically, because he talks too much, they just shot him.
Yeah, he's really annoying.
Fair, he was really annoying. Then we cut to the police. The police have Ismail, or Abdi, And they're questioning him, basically. They think that he's killed everyone on this bus because he's the only person they found
he can't
alive.
remember anything.
Yeah,
and-
he's the only person they found alive on the bus, so it must have been him that did it. The cop seems to know him. I thought there was some sort of recognition.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
Did you not? I feel like you might have missed a bit.
maybe.
Because there's a reveal in a minute.
Yes, there is. But at this point,
No, yeah.
I was thought. Oh,
Because the cop says, he sends the other cop out of the room.
Yeah.
Gets him to lock the door and says, right, I'm going to tell you a story.
right, okay.
Because he's...
I didn't miss it.
I think
at this
what
point I hadn't picked up on it.
He's tried... I think the I don't think he came across very well, but I think the point of the first part of the scene was the cop was trying to work out what Ishmael knew.
Right.
I think at the point he then sent out the other cop, he's like, right, I believe that this guy genuinely doesn't know who he is.
And this is me
but
now.
I do.
I need to fill him
So
in.
I'm going to tell you this story.
Okay. Yeah, because this is the point now where we learn about who he is and where he comes from, basically.
Well, I quite like this, and whether it was me just not being 100% on the ball, because or it's, you know, you had the same reaction, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because the policeman is like, starts to tell a story about a man who is followed by bloodshed
Yes.
anywhere he goes. And I was like, oh, he's talking about Ish.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
But he wasn't. He was talking about Mr. Lee.
Because he then goes to talk about all these missing kids.
Yeah.
And that this guy killed parents, stole children,
Yeah.
and then raised them to be killers.
Basically
and
raised a child
thieves
army.
and- yeah.
He says Mr.
And
Lee
he said he's called Lee.
Lee or Mr. Lee is a terrorist master who has a stranglehold on this island.
Yeah.
With an army of people willing to die for him.
Yeah.
Basically is what this guy is. And it's children that he's raised to be this army of people who are willing to die for him, of which we reveal at this point that Abdi is one of them.
Yeah.
Because they show Abdi a picture of him
Yeah, he
with
says,
Mr. Lee.
we caught him 2 months ago.
Yeah.
He
we've
was
got
out
him.
in the open.
We had him.
Yeah. At a cafe.
Yeah.
And he slides an envelope over.
Yeah.
And it's a picture of Abdi having dinner with
dinner with
Mr. Lee.
I thought it was a really good scene where
It
him.
was nice.
Where they show him capturing Mr. Lee when he's just
Yeah.
sitting outside at that restaurant having
Yeah.
dinner. And then all these cops just turn up.
It's very
in the restaurant.
stylistic,
It
isn't it?
really
It's
was.
raining.
He was
It's-
sitting
they
outside
put a
eating, but it was
filter
raining.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Then suddenly,
slow-mo. There's a lot of slow-mo in this movie.
yeah, there is. Suddenly, while they're having this conversation, the lights in the police station go off.
Yeah.
And you're
Gunfire.
like, something cool's going to happen. Then you can hear gunshots in the distance.
This cop buys it in a bad way, man.
It's horrendous.
He literally puts his face to the window to
'cause
listen.
He's
and
drawn
get
the
a better
blinds,
view.
but instead of opening the blinds to see what's going on, he listens at the window, which is never a good thing to do in an action movie like this. And basically, he gets a machete through his head.
Yeah.
But through his like cheek area.
Yeah.
Which doesn't kill him.
No. Again, it's another. It was withdrawn. He slides down the wall, gurgling.
And it's horrible. Yeah. It looks great as well because it breaks the glass, obviously, at the same time and goes through him, and you can see it go through him. It's they're not holding back anything here.
And by the way,
And then you watch him gurgle and die.
Ish is still handcuffed to the table.
Yes, which is always cool.
Yeah.
When somebody's about to have a fight when they're handcuffed, it's great.
And in walked who I've only described as a flip-flop assassin.
Yeah, that's a great way to
He's
describe
in a
him.
poncho and flip-flops.
He's in a poncho and flip flops
and wielding a machete.
They have a fight whilst Ish is still handcuffed to this. He's got the with the loop on the table and the chain through
And the
it.
table becomes his weapon.
The table becomes his weapon and also his shield.
Yeah.
So he's basically fighting this guy, and it's a really cool fight. He does manage to break free in the scuffle. One of the knives goes through his chains, and the fight ends by the man. His knife goes up through the table, and the man's head lands on the knife.
But it's really the attention to the deaths and the gruesomeness in this, because this guy gets a knife through the bottom of his cheek, but it doesn't go into his head. You see it; it's in his cheek. And comes up the other side, and you're just like, "Fuck, that's awful." That's it makes me shiver.
It does, yeah. Because a lot of these, what would be kill shots in other movies, are not kill shots in this movie.
This movie
man doesn't
likes
die
having
from this.
people
Die slowly,
being
painfully.
left bleeding out
Yeah.
from some horrific injury.
Yeah, because it does. In a normal movie, this would go up through his chin into his brain.
Yeah.
This doesn't. It goes up through his cheek and out
And
through
out.
the top of his head.
Yeah.
But misses everything.
Yeah.
And then he just bleeds to death. It's visceral.
Then someone lobs a grenade in the room,
Yeah.
so you know it's really about to kick off.
Which he uses a shield and hides behind the table. And then the grenade explodes, and a really slow motion shot of him getting thrown up against the wall it's a really cool shot, actually.
And in Walk, I've referred to them as the bus killers. So this is machine gun guy and shotgun guy.
Yes. Nobody has names in this movie. Like they're just NPCs.
Yeah.
But, he survives the grenade shot, dives through the window and shoots every fucker. Except for the two final guys, these two.
They're stalking him through the police station. Just, Abdi, where are you?
Yeah, he hides. He's hiding under a table. They're fine. It's basically hide and seek for a minute. Yeah. Then the power comes back on. Just as Abdi's managed to sneak up behind this guy because he's going to take him out in the dark, the power comes back on, and he's there basically now exposed in the middle of this room.
Yeah.
And they have a shotgun fight. Basically, he's fighting, and the guy's shooting and trying to shoot him with a shotgun. I think this was the best fight so far in this film because there's a lot of hiding, a lot of things getting exploded by shotguns.
I'd almost put them as one long. He fights the flip flop guy, and then shotgun guy, machine gun. It's just one extended long fight scene. It's really cool through the police station.
He manages to end it by blowing the dude's face off.
Yeah. And his arms breaking, legs breaking.
Yeah, another dude comes in. The guns are all empty by this point.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
The guy, like you said, gets his knuckles mashed on a typewriter. So
yes,
he's
does.
Using literally the letters from the typewriter to smash.
He snaps the blade off a paper cutter, like a guillotine off a paper cutter, and they're fighting with that for a while. He digs that into the guy's arm, and so this guy's just flailing about fighting him with this blade in his arm, and then he pulls that out. Then he punches through a typewriter, and all the little letter hammer, I guess.
Yeah.
They get stuck in his hand, so he's punching with them, and he punches a wall, and they all dig in further. Yeah. He's screaming. It's just great. It's just really great. And then Abdi breaks the dude's leg, and then he breaks his arm. He basically snaps this guy to pieces.
And he's like, he leaves him.
Yeah, he does.
Again,
he shows mercy. He leaves him alive and shows mercy.
And the guy literally pulls himself, because Abdi's in a bad way as well.
Yeah.
Grabs onto him and tries to strangle him. This guy's he's got a broken arm, he's got a broken leg, he's still trying to kill.
Yeah, still trying to kill him. He gets a phone, doesn't he? He's wrapping a phone cable around his neck. And they're both lying on the floor next to each other, still trying to kill each other. And he says, "Hey bro, wanna know what I did to your bitch?" Is the line that he uses. And then Abdi's like, "No, I don't want to know what you did to my bitch," and punches his face till he dies.
Yeah.
He basically buries his fists into this guy's face. Cut back to Mr. Lee. He's going to prove to Elaine that he's kept the little girl from the bus alive as well. Brings her into the cell.
Yeah.
And Elaine says to Mr. Lee, "Look, who are you? What is going on?
Yeah.
Who are you? Why are you like you are?" Basically.
Who are you? What is Ish done to you? Who is he?
Yeah, exactly.
And then we come back to Ishmael he's having a flashback.
Yeah,
he basically remembers being friends with the two guys he's just brutally killed.
Yeah.
I like they're drinking and having a nice time, I guess.
Basically, yeah, it's a flashback. Lee then rings one of his henchmen, and Abdi answers.
Yeah,
and they have a bit of a phone chat, and he calls him son at one point. So I was like, "Oh, is he his dad?" That's really interesting. But
he calls them all that.
He calls them all.
He raised them all.
Yeah, he raised them all as if they're his children. He then, whilst he's talking to Abdi on the phone, Mr. Lee, he starts strangling Elaine.
Yeah. And
then he's like, "Come and get her." And he pings his location to him on his phone. He's like, "This is where I am. Come and get her. She's yours if you want her." So he does.
I don't think he needed to ping the location because it turns out he's in the same place where they all got bought up as stolen
it's just
kids.
at home. Yeah.
But fine.
Abdi doesn't know where that is because he's got no memory.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good point.
So he does. He sends him his location. Elaine manages to stab him in the shoulder with some scissors.
He says to her, "You're a doctor."
Yeah.
"You stupid bitch. You just stabbed me in the neck."
Yeah. What have you done that for? Then he has a flashback of him.
I didn't understand this.
No.
So why did we need another? It's a fine fight scene, but we have a flashback of Ishmael fighting this huge, the henchest guy in this.
Yeah,
but it's nothing to do with the real time story.
No, it's just a bit of an exposition on who Lee is. He's got half a sword. It's basically a broken sword, and he's just stabbing this guy up with. And the sword's now on
Mr. Lee's table.
Yeah,
but it added nothing to the movie.
No, it didn't at all. Yeah. We already knew that Lee was a bad guy.
Yeah,
We didn't need a flashback to tell us that. I don't know.
It was weird.
He kills this massive dude anyway. He's a Japanese wrestler.
Well, I wonder if that's what it was. It was just to get this bit of stunt casting.
Yeah, we've got a Hiroki Goto.
Yeah.
Let's just stab him up a little bit. But he could have played any of the roles in it.
Yeah. But it's totally erroneous to the
Yeah, it happens.
structure of the movie. Weird.
Abdi then has arrived at the scene. He turns up at a well in the garden.
He remembers it.
And he remembers it. He has flashbacks of living in it.
Yeah.
He used to live in this well with a load of other children. And basically, when Lee this is how I understood it. When Lee gets children, he puts them all in this well and makes
So he
them
put
fight
4
to
or
the
5
death.
in the bottom of the well.
Yeah, makes
until
them
one
survives, basically.
And that one would be then into his family.
Yeah,
Yeah, brutal.
brutal. And that's how Lee has picked the best of the best, I guess, over the years. Then another dude shows up. This is Bezzy.
This is the truncheon guy.
Yes.
His special weapons like the collapsible nightstick.
And he basically fills in Abdi of the history of what's happening.
He says, "Do you remember being?"
This is our captain exposition. This is the guy who's telling us the story of what's happened and
he's-
filling Abdi.
They
in on
had the
history.
closest relationship.
Yeah, they were like best mates
within the family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even gives Ishmael some water.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And then they're going to fight, and they're going to fight hard. But then this guy just vanishes into thin air. He walks around a tree.
Well,
and then he just disappears.
They have a good fight in the forest.
Yeah.
It's really well shot, well choreographed. It's probably not as visceral. This is the more martial arts skill fight, isn't it?
Yeah. There's no weapons.
There's still sort of smashing into trees and there's still
There's no
blood
guns,
flying
there's no
out of
knives,
mouth and stuff like that. But it's not as gory. And then it's very even, and then Ish basically lands a blow to Bez's face, doesn't he?
With his truncheon.
And it's in slow motion. You see teeth fly in. There's water. There's blood everywhere, and he just staggers off. Then.
This was horrible.
Yeah,
because you can see this guy has taken this
blow
blow
on the beach.
This guy's taken this blow to the head, and you know it's going to kill him.
Yeah,
but it doesn't straight away, and it's almost like he has a stroke, and he's like his speech goes all slurred. He just staggers off.
The detail's horrible.
It's horrible. And I was like, there's not really any need for this. I don't need to see people die like that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see them just like get crushed to death or shot to death or whatever, but I don't want to see people die like that. I was like, this is a bit much.
And I think going back to earlier, what we said about like, there's a reason why you have sort of, when you've got a high body count movies, you just see, well, he's dead. And the fact that this several times, probably like 10 times, maybe even more. This movie goes to the detail of
that's a kill shot, but
there's
it's
not
not
going
going to kill him straight away.
Yeah, because there's like, well, that guy's just had a knife through his cheek. He's going to bleed to death. I don't need to waste any more energy. I'm walking out.
Yeah,
because I've got some other people.
I don't need to kill him. But this one's a bit much for me. This seemed a bit. Yeah,
I get that.
He wanders off onto the beach. He's just
wants to sit on the beach to die.
Yeah, he does. He's just mumbling nonsensical words to himself. He doesn't know where he is. He goes off to the beach, and then the next time we see him, he's just dead, sitting up against a tree. It was a bit much. Then the lady goon shows up that we met earlier.
Yeah, this is this lady who shot Ish.
Yes, he manages to overpower her much easier, but she does give him a good fight.
He disarms her quite
quickly,
yeah.
And it's revealed that these two have a really strong bond. These
brother
two
and
have grown
sister
up,
bond.
Basically brother and sister bond. They were very close.
They fight in the surf, don't they?
There's a nice sea fight where they're just
I was
fighting.
like, no. Again, I was a bit sort of, all right, this is the first woman he's fought, and she's got to get wet.
Yeah.
Like in the sea. And
it's Although he gets wet first.
No, I know, but...
Yeah. I know, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Abdi says, I don't want to kill you. I don't want to kill anyone else. I'm done with killing.
He says,
fine.
You can be free. Of all of them,
Yeah.
I know you the most. You don't have to choose this side.
Yeah. I don't want to kill anyone. I just want to make sure Elaine is safe.
Yeah.
I need to get her away, and then I'll just leave. I don't care about any of this.
Yeah, they just stop mid-fight to have this conversation. And you kind of think... It did a good job for me of hooking me in and thinking, oh yeah, she's gonna flip.
But she doesn't, because she's been brainwashed her entire life into following Mr. Lee.
She's got a secret shoe gun.
Shoot gun?
Yeah.
She has. But she is not very good at using it.
No.
Because they're literally as far apart as me and you are on this beach. No.
I thought she fired wide on purpose.
Maybe.
But I agree it wasn't clear.
It wasn't clear.
Yeah.
She was shooting at him a lot, and she missed every single shot.
Yeah.
And then, as he's trying to avoid it, he manages to throw his knife full power into her chest.
And now I didn't. This was probably my least favorite death because it came across a bit like
you're supposed
Ishmael
to be shocked.
/ Abdi was like, "Oh, I've accidentally thrown my knife at you."
Yeah, you're supposed to be
dead.
shocked because you don't really see him throw the knife, and all you see is the knife end up inside her.
And it wasn't good editing.
It wasn't good editing, and you were supposed to be shocked that he had killed her because you weren't expecting him to. But he does.
Because I was confused as to whether I was supposed to think she missed him on purpose because she wanted to die.
Yeah.
She wouldn't switch. She wouldn't flip.
She didn't want to.
But she was willing to let him pass. Yeah. But she knew she had to die
to do it
because otherwise,
maybe.
Would kill her. I don't know. But
maybe that's
it wasn't clear. It wasn't clear.
And she dies in his arms, basically on the beach.
Her last words are, "We are even."
Yeah, because she shot him in the head. He's stabbed her in the chest. He then calls Lee back on his phone, and he says, "Look, I remember everything now." And they're on the opposite side of the same door.
Yeah. Mr. Lee, who must be wondering
where's all my goons gone?
Says, and he's like, "Come back and we'll
come home and we'll sort it." And Abdi just goes, "I'm already here."
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really nice scene, because you're looking at this door from both angles, and they're either side.
I think they should have had that phone conversation. If we're being really picky, I know this is a real nitpick. They should have had that phone conversation when he sets foot on the island.
Yeah, maybe.
As opposed to.
I really like the fact that they were on the opposite side of the same door. Yeah. I really like that. Yeah. Then this guy tries to rape Elaine. He just what was this all about? It was just another one who needed to die.
And faceless goon,
faceless NPC.
It was so that the door was left open.
They give the little girl something to do as well. Yeah. So she manages to stop it. The little girl manages to stop it. A fight ensues between the three.
Stabs him with a load of crockery.
She does, yeah. And then she manages to get his machine gun.
Yeah, they can't work the gun.
She can't work the gun.
Note is, they work the gun.
She can't work the gun. She's pointing the gun at this guy. She's lying on the floor. She's protecting the little girl who's lying behind her. She starts to shoot. Nothing's happening, and then the little girl just flicks the safety button off the gun, and then she shoots the shit out of this guy. 100 bullets maybe goes into this guy.
All I'll say is, considering we've had some bad shooters in this movie, Eileen learns how to shoot quick.
Very. I mean, it was close, and it was hard. It was harder to miss than it was to hit.
I meant when she gets out the door and just mows down a load.
That other guy, that was great. She walks out this door, turns left. This guy appears, and she mows him down. Could have been anybody. Could have been fucking Abdi for all we knew. But then 4 guys come in. And she can't take out 4 guys all at once.
I quite like how this was shot.
Yeah, this was really nice.
So the 2 ladies, they have to hide. So they've run out of ammo. There's 5 goons that come in.
She takes one of them out. I think it ends up with 4.
Our focus is the camera is on Aileen and the little girl petrified cowering in the corner, and over her shoulder, the other side of this table, out of focus, we see someone walk in and take these goons out.
Yeah,
we know it's obviously
we know. Yeah. But we're about to get the big shot. Yeah, he walks into shot. We're about to get the big reunion scene that we've been waiting for. This is the 2 lovers coming back together.
But she goes for him.
She fucking hates him.
She's like, "Who are you? Who are you?
Yeah, why have you put me in this position? Why have I just had to kill some guys?" She does. She pulls a knife on him, and she says, "You're one of them. You're one of these goons that have been trying to kill me." And he grabs her and he's like, "You need to save me one more time." And she drops the knife, and they have a nice hug.
Whenever possible in this movie, any development is put into one line, or as little dialogue as possible.
Because she says, "Yeah, you're right, I do."
Because that works. They hug.
Yeah, they hug. She drops the knife and they hug, and then Mr. Lee shows up, and we're in the final boss fight. I guess is what's happening now.
And he just says, "You're nothing. You're a dog.
Yeah,
you don't know how to obey your master."
But then he finds out that Rika's dead. Rika's the girl that was killed on the beach,
and I think she was his favorite.
She was his favorite, definitely, because he bursts out crying. He cries. They have a big fight. They fight again. No weapons in this fight. This is a hand-to-hand combat. They've managed to fall into a room on their own, leaving
just a bare concrete room.
Yeah,
which shows the blood up really well.
Which has left Elaine and the little girl outside. And all I was thinking all the while is, what are those 2 doing? Are they just waiting? What are they having some dinner? What's going on?
Lee really likes to strangle.
He does. He loves to strangle.
Goes for the throat a lot.
Yeah.
Mr. Lee kicks Ish right in the head.
Yeah, overpowers him.
Where he got shot.
Yeah, overpowers him a lot, and then he makes a mistake. He calls him Abdi, which Ishmael, I guess, doesn't like. This turns him into beast mode.
He just hulks up.
Yeah, he does. Basically hulks up, and he doesn't like being called Abdi. And Lee manages to escape from him. They get outside.
He's like, "Oh fuck, I'm retreating. I can't win. Can't win. He's hooked up. I'm up against it here."
So he manages to get outside.
Out the door into the forest.
And Abdi follows him. Ishmael follows him. Obviously, the fight carries on outside in the rainy jungle, which is always great. And it ends when he manages to impale him on a branch of a tree.
And I mean, there's a couple of bits before that, just on the goriness. So again, Ish does another arm break.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Mr. Lee's arm's hanging limply, but at the same time, Mr. Lee's got his fingernails into Ish's neck.
Yeah.
And again, you literally see him pull the skin away, leave these gouges. It's pretty nasty.
Grim.
And then you're absolutely right. Impaled on the pointiest tree ever.
Yeah, which we did see earlier in the film when they were having their phone conversation earlier. The camera focused on it quite a lot.
Literally like a stake.
It's like, this is going to happen. You know this is going to happen. You just need to know which one of them's going to end up on it.
It's not quite all over.
Lee. No.
Because Lee's still got a hold of Ish.
Yeah, it's so Lee is now lying on this branch with a stick that's coming out of his chest. Probably a foot, maybe. And he's still got a hold of him. So he's trying to pull him on it as well.
Yeah.
Which I thought, that's awesome. That's a really nice shot of him trying to pull him onto this stick. But Elaine then grabs him from the other side and pulls him backwards.
Pulls him
away. And he collapses into her arms. And I'm like, is he dead? Is this the end? What's happened?
He's not in a good shape.
He's not in a good way. The camera pans away from the action and then pans to white, which I thought was quite nice. And then we wake up in a hospital.
Pretty much back where we were at the start of the film.
Different hospital.
Aileen goes into Ish's bedroom.
Yeah,
she settles down on the sofa.
She's been in hospital herself. She's in scrubs herself this time.
He's back in a coma.
He's back in a coma. She's still sitting waiting for him. It very much mirrors the start of the film.
Yeah.
However, they're now in Jakarta.
She even says, "This feels familiar." He's sitting by your bedside.
She does. Only this is a much nicer hospital. That's what she says. And then she says, "Don't make me wait another 2 months," which I thought was a nice little scene as well. And so she then...
This is so cheesy, but you kind of got to give it to it because it's just it's within the sense of...
A movie like this...
sense of fun of the movie.
Has to end with the cheesiest line of the movie, and it does. Because she gets the chart off the foot of the bed, and it's blank. So she writes Abdi on it, and then she rubs it out.
Yeah. And
then he touches her hand, wakes up, and says, "You should write Ishmael."
How could he see?
How does she know how did he even know what she was doing? And that's how the movie ends.
Has he gained superpowers?
Yes. Thoughts?
Look, this is a lot of fun. It's stupid.
It's nonsense.
It's one of, if not the most violent movies we have seen.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it gets that award.
Because I know we had Revenger early on, which was really violent, but it did not have this level of gore.
Visceral. This is... It almost goes too far sometimes.
Yeah.
It does go too far at one point.
The death/non-death are probably too much. What I was going to say, I sort of hinted towards in The Wave, was that I actually watched this in 3 parts.
Okay.
Just because I've had a busy week. I've been trying to get it, watch it where I can.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I liked this more because I segmented it. Because I wonder if I'd have watched it in one sitting, would I have come away thinking, oh, that's a bit much?
I did watch it all in one. I don't think I came away thinking it was a bit much. I had a lot of fun watching it. There was just that death scene of that guy just struggling to die. It was like, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It didn't need it. But I can see why they've done it. It didn't add anything. And they've done it all the way through, to be fair. They've not killed everybody with kill shots. But that one was just a bit too much for me.
Look,
but that doesn't take anything away from the film. I can see what they were trying to do.
Fight choreography is brilliant.
Yeah.
The inventiveness of some of these death scenes, really good. Setting's great. Look, Iko Uwais is a really charismatic lead.
He's a great action star. He should be in a lot more movies.
He proves it time and time again.
I think the fact that he doesn't speak English holds him back in his career slightly, maybe.
Yeah.
He could be the biggest action star in the world.
I liked the guy who's Mr. Lee.
Who speaks English for most of the film.
Yeah.
Which is really bizarre. Because the film's in obviously Indonesia, but he
Yeah.
speaks English all the way through, and everybody can understand him. But
I didn't buy any relationships in this
No.
movie because it spends no time on how we're just told Eileen's in
falling in
love.
love with him.
Okay, fine, I can maybe buy that. There's no time spent on the relationship Ish builds with the old man who rescued him,
No.
but we're expected to feel for that. We do.
I
It's
think
a
what-
cursory glance at the relationships he had with his ex-friends now.
Yeah. I think what it also doesn't do a very good job
Rivals.
of is you can understand that Elaine's fallen in love with him whilst he's been in this coma, but he wakes up and appears to instantly be in love with her.
Yeah.
And he has no idea who she is. He's never
Exactly.
met her before.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of leave your brain at the door in this.
Yeah.
But a lot of these movies go cartoony and they go over the top with the deaths. This is very realistic. This doesn't feel like people don't die from every shot that you give them, and they don't in this movie in real life.
Almost every big fight scene that's got, especially people walk out of rooms and all you can hear is like people gurgling, groaning, and
This is
writhing
not-
on the floor.
This is not cartoony violence. This is realistic, visceral gore.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe takes something away from it a little bit, but at the same time, I can see why they've tried to do it. They've done, we want to be uber serious.
That's the style we're going
for.
for.
This
Yeah,
is what we're
that's
going
the-
with. It's a lot of fun. If you like this sort of
I
movie, you're going to
enjoyed
enjoy it. I think Iko Uwais
I know
really
people
is a great
who would
star.
absolutely hate this movie,
Yeah.
but it flew by. It is, you've got to admire the choreography and the work that goes into it. It's a relatively easy watch.
Yeah, 100%.
You turn your brain off at the door. Yeah,
It's a Saturday night pizza and a Magna movie. If you're into gory, violent Indonesian crime
and
movies.
that's some people's bag.
Yeah, absolutely. If you like The Raid and The Raid 2, you're probably going to enjoy this. Yeah, it's a lot though.
It's not.
It is a lot.
Yeah. You couldn't watch. I couldn't watch this sort of movie every night of the week.
No, absolutely not.
But I enjoy watching this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I had fun.
Yeah, same. What's the best thing about it?
I just think it is. For me, it is probably Uwais' strength of.
I think he's a
charisma.
great leading man. I think in both films we've seen him in now, he's just been great.
Yeah.
He
The
could
camera
be a
likes
massive-
him, doesn't
yeah,
it?
it does. He's got the look. He's just got it. He's got it. He's being held back in his career.
It's
slightly.
that, and then if you want to talk technical, it's the fight stunt choreography.
Yeah, stunt
isn't it?
choreography is great. It's fantastic all the way through. The gunplay's a bit crap.
That's what this movie is.
But the fact that they explain the gunplay by having cheap Chinese weapons is
Yeah.
really funny. I like that. So I'm taking that on board. What would you change about it?
I just think it is a 2-hour long movie.
Yes.
Could you do something more character wise?
I think so.
If we're trying to elevate it from a good fun action movie into the next tier of
Movie.
an actual good movie, then it's a bit more time on characters, isn't it?
Spend a bit more time on characters.
But I
Give us a bit more backstory rather than just the occasional flashback.
Yeah.
Give us a bit more.
But I
backstory.
caveat with that's not what this movie wants to do.
No, and it is not.
Which
100%
is
it's not.
fine.
Yeah.
But that's what it would need to do to take it to the next level.
I think I would also change that death scene. I think I'd change a few of the death scenes and make it a bit more inventive in the way people die rather than just leaving them to bleed out. But I'd take out that one that Bezzy died in.
Okay.
I think
that's fair.
Stream table.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read the whole thing?
Do you want to? I mean, I'm
Do I need to?
pretty comfortable with this being in the top 10.
Okay. Do you want me to read the top 10?
If you're in agreement, you can go from there.
No, I'm very comfortable with that.
Okay.
The top 10 currently are The Ledge is at number 10. Take the 10 is at number 9. The Cleanse is at 8. You Are Not My Mother is at 7. The Giver is at 6. Double World is at 5. Number 4 is The Legacy of a White-tailed Deer Hunter. 3 is Nature Reborn. 2 is Old People. Currently top of the stream at number 1 is The Decline, last week's movie. Where does this one go?
Do you want to go first or me? I've got a pretty definitive idea of where I think this should go. For me.
Me too. Do you want me to go first?
Okay.
4th.
Okay, I had 5th.
Okay, interesting.
I preferred it to Double World.
I preferred it to Double World. I think it's a better movie than The Legacy of a
And then I
White-tailed
just
Deer
stopped
Hunter.
there because I thought that was a difficult comparison to make between.
It's a very different movie to The Legacy of a White-tailed Deer
I have no
Hunter.
problem with it going 4th.
100%. I think it's not as good as Nature Reborn. I think that's got a really nice.
Yeah.
This is a very similar film, even though one's animated and one isn't. But I think it is better than The Legacy of a White.
Yeah, I have no issue with this going 4th.
Yeah, happy with that?
Yeah, 100%.
That was easy.
So,
Sorted.
Yeah.
4th. I think that's fair. I think it's the right place. I think people will agree.
yeah, in terms of just go and have some fun. Yeah, this is a good movie.
Agreed. Next week's film. Are we ready?
Let's do it.
What would you like to watch next week, Nick?
Probably not as much blood. I'll just have a week off the
Should we have
extreme gore.
a week off the gore, shall
Yeah.
we? Right, you ready? Shall I get
Go.
Call Robin out?
Yeah, go for it.
It has picked a movie called Rose Island.
Okay.
That's not a person, that's a movie. Any ideas?
I do actually,
Okay.
because I do recall putting this on the list.
Right.
I know it's an Italian movie,
It is an Italian movie.
and I believe it tells the story of a guy sort of creating his own island nation.
Okay, do you want me to read you a synopsis? It's a Netflix original as well.
Okay,
It's
cool.
Italian Netflix original. In 1968, engineer Giorgio Rosa established the independent state called the Island of Roses off the coast of Rimini. Built on a platform outside the territorial waters with Esperanto as the official language, the Italian authorities did not take it well because the micronation was seen as an expedient to not pay taxes on the revenues obtained thanks to the arrival of numerous tourists and curious people.
Okay.
That makes it sound really boring.
It does. It's not a well-written synopsis.
No, there's 2 synopsises. Do you want the other one?
Okay, fine.
An idealistic engineer builds his own island off the Italian coast and declares it a nation. Drawing the world's attention, vows are tested when the Italian government declares him an enemy. But to change the world, risks must be taken.
That is much
That's a
better. Why would you use the first one? My God.
It's from 2020. It is Italian. Sounds fun. It is a Netflix original, as I've just said. So yeah, go out and watch that.
Awesome.
And in the
I'm
meantime,
excited.
check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast on all of those. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On our website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all the stream tables, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
Waste paper basket.
waste paper basket. How fun are we?
I don't know where that came from. I
There's
apologise.
one in here.
No,
There
I
is,
know.
but you can't see it. After you've done all of that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottom of the stream. On there for a couple of quid every month, you'll get early access to episodes. You'll get bonus episodes. You will get a newsletter that Nick writes every month. And if you come in at the top level, you will get a wild card, which means you can pick the film that we watch. And if you get the best one of the season, you might even win a prize. And then when you've done all of that, head over to Discord. Discord is a group full of fun, movie-loving people who will talk to you about literally anything. You can get involved in the real talks. You can get involved in the watch-alongs that we do in there. We play games. We do all sorts of cool stuff. It's a really cool community that we're starting to build in there. And yeah, come along. The Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes.
Yes, do come and join us. If you have a few minutes spare, please consider leaving us a rating or review anywhere you can review or rate podcasts. We're on all of those places. They are places such as Podbean, Podchaser, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora. There's hundreds more. We're on, we think, all of them.
We think all of them. If we're not, let us know. We'll get on it.
There's always a new one popping up. But yeah, let us know. It really helps. It helps get our name out there, build our community, and let more people know about these movies.
Absolutely.
Good or bad.
Yeah, the bad ones are well fun.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Not always. So yeah, do all of that. Go out and watch Rose Island. And then we'll be back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday for the movie show.
Cheers.
Bye.